I was thinking about 2025 and like the big unification themes because there were a few. I know we think about 2025 in general like it's a big diversive year. Like
Mhm.
it feels like it put people on certain sides, but I think there's some unifying themes.
Okay.
And I have a favorite. I want to make sure that you know about it because I'm curious to know if you know about it and what your relationship is with it. And Tori, I'm curious for you as well.
The anticipation.
My favorite unifying theme this year
Okay.
was 6-7. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No idea what you are talking about.
This is amazing. Okay, great. So, Tori, do you know what this is?
Yes, I do, unfortunately.
Okay, see, she knows what it is, unfortunately.
I'm clearly
But,
behind the times.
So, we're going to
It's okay, I
get...
had to Google it, so
You did?
yeah.
But why did you Google it?
Because I was seeing it everywhere and it's like this stupid thing and I'm like, what is it? And then I had to Google it.
All right, so I'm going to set the stage for you.
Okay.
I'm at my daughter's Vex robotics competition.
This is a few weeks ago.
This is, like a month ago. And there's basically an auditorium full of kids from ages like 9 to 15. Right.
Okay.
And there's probably, let's call it 150 kids there.
Okay.
And they're up at the people who are running the meet are up at the front and they're explaining all the rules and how it's going to run. And they start talking about bathroom breaks. And he's like, there's bathrooms over there. I think there's like 6 or 7 of them. And every kid in the room goes 6, 7 on cue. He didn't do it intentionally. It happens all the time. It just, people say like, I don't know, there's like 6 or 7 of these things, or they just say 6, 7, 67, whatever. And every kid, even my daughter who hated this, she was like Tori originally,
Is doing it now.
well, every kid loves it. And it's just this unifying theme. It's like a cultural shift, a cultural movement for 11-year-olds. And it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It can be annoying. It can be kind of fun. But literally everybody but Colin Walker knows what this is.
I don't know.
No,
what
I
this
would
is.
say like there's probably a larger demographic that does it.
How
now.
many? How big's the demographic?
Well,
6 or 7.
See? It's
Yeah.
natural. It's natural.
I can't believe you did that. Do you
That was
guys know what
cringe,
it's
Colin.
like originally from though?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
here's my understanding. Because there's there's like a YouTube guy or Instagram guy or a TikTok guy. Either way, I don't know where he is. He's on one of the platforms,
some guy.
and he's a teacher. And like parents will look to him for explanations of what the kids
Like
are
what's
talking
going
about.
on in the classroom?
Translation.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, Riz. You know what Riz
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Okay, like that. What do you know? What Skippity Ohio is?
Oh my God.
No, right. So like,
Do you know what it is?
No.
Are you making this up as
they
you go along?
They made it up. I did not make it up.
Who's
but
they?
The kids.
The kids,
The kids
okay.
are making this up. But this was not a kid that made this up. So this was, I think it was a sports replay. Like it was either Sports Center or one of the sports commentary shows.
Yeah.
And it was replaying like a great dunk or something like that. It was a basketball replay. And the guy's like, it lists him as 6'3", but he's really like 6'7". And then like
Everybody picked up on it.
some rapper, I can't remember the rapper, like either he was referencing the rapper or the rapper referenced him, but it just became like this big sensation where everybody you have to do the hand thing too.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Finn, I know.
6, 7.
Yes. And then it has
Okay. Oh my God.
Just edit that out.
No, you gotta keep that. You gotta keep that. But also then it creates these ripple effects, and there's 41, which is another stupid thing. But the point is, it's great because it doesn't matter what side of politics you fall onto. Everybody appreciates in some way the 6-7, even if they appreciate hating it. It's like, and I can't think of another cultural movement like this. Like growing up, there was nothing that somebody would say, and everybody I know on cue would have a
Would say the
response
same
to.
thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like there was a Bud Light commercial in the 90s, and he'd be like, "What's up?"
Oh, that
type
thing.
of
Yeah.
thing.
That was the
kinda-
first episode of The Office.
Oh, right. Yeah. But this is something bigger than that. So it's just kind of cool to see like this happening.
Huh. That's pretty
And now
interesting.
you're a part of it, Colin.
Now I don't know if I'm a part of it.
It's very contagious.
Yeah. I'll look out for that now. I didn't know that was a thing.
I want to get Colin doing it on loop. That's really...
No.
For Christmas.
No, we will not do that.
For Christmas, can I please...
I forbid it.
Welcome to the Compound Growth Podcast with Colin and Wheeler, where we talk all things growth. From financial growth to career growth, personal development to societal progress, we explore how each layer builds on the next, compounding over time to shape who we become. Each week, we break down complex ideas and emerging trends into clear, actionable insights. Because growth isn't just about numbers, it's about understanding the world and our place in it. The information in this material is for general information only, and is not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Investment advice offered through Integrated Partners, doing business as Ko-Fi Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor. Integrated Partners does not provide legal, tax, mortgage, advice, or services. Please consult your legal tax advisor regarding your specific situation. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. The economic forecasts set forth in this material may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that the strategies promoted will be successful. It's a little bit of a reflection episode today. We're going to look back on 2025. We're going to talk about what our takeaways from this year were as financial advisors, as podcasters, as people.
You could maybe call us podcasters now. We're enough episodes in where I think we're podcasters. We're doing it.
I do feel like, I was thinking about this on the drive in today, and I feel like one thing we could do, we should act like we're in a band. And when you're in a band, you're like always talking about the fact that you're in a band. Like you're trying to find an audience.
Yeah,
I never walk around like
Were you in a band in high school?
No, I was not. But my brother was. And I just found out at Thanksgiving that he played in New York City. Like
How did you not know this?
Well, I was in college.
He didn't invite you? You played the trumpet.
I think my trumpet was not cool enough for his punk band.
Okay. I was going to say, any single time that you have a band that has like a saxophone in it, I know you didn't play the saxophone, but I just feel like it's an immediate slap. Like every single time there's a saxophone incorporated into a song, you know it's going to be a banger.
See, you just said slap and banger. Are you trying to sound cool right now?
I'm trying to get in with the times.
We're going to look back at the year. We're going to talk about our journey as podcasters, as people, as business owners. We're going to talk about the stock market. We're going to talk about
life,
cultural events, life.
All kinds of good stuff.
And we're going to identify our guiding words.
Yes, we are. I don't want to ruin the surprise on the guiding words.
No, of course not.
I'm excited to get to that part.
I will tell you that my guiding word for 2025 was intentional.
Yep.
And
you just ruined it.
I feel like that was a good word for me to use in 2025.
That was. Yes, it was. I agree with you. Awesome. So why don't you take us through some of the major topics that we discussed in 2025, both between us and clients? Yeah. There were a few big themes in 2025.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll share my takeaway. I feel like 2025's guiding word was fear. I feel like people were very fearful this year. I think that people were politically fearful. I think they were fearful of changing technology. They're fearful of a worsening economy.
Yep.
They're fearful of like stock market crashes. Their fear of missing out on opportunity in the stock market.
The FOMO fear was real second half of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting to me because, you know, I feel like I've heard this before a lot, but like, this must be the most hated bull market in history because nobody's happy.
No one.
Everybody thinks it's coming to an end tomorrow.
Everybody thinks their job's going to get replaced.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks their job's going to get replaced.
Man.
Yeah, I know. I do have to say the beginning of the year was extremely tumultuous because you had the tariffs as well, because you had the whole April shock. which was miserable. And I would say like it's kind of quieted down the latter half of the year in my world, at least with the people that I'm talking to, my clients. There's less fear coming into the end of the year, but maybe it's just because there was so much at the beginning of the year. Maybe it's just slightly getting back to normal.
I think that the beginning 2025 came in like a tantruming
It came in
child.
hot.
Yeah. And it was a lot all at once.
Yeah.
And I think that was strategic, right? You know that the administration went for like the loudest, most impactful first 100 days.
Move
history,
fast and break things.
Right. And that was definitely move fast and break things.
It was. Yeah.
Was literally like Elon Musk's motto for the government.
Right.
And so I think that was really a lot. And it's possible that at this point in 2025, what they did was bludgeon us over the head so much at the beginning of the year that we're numb to other things now. Like we don't, I feel the fear is still there, but it's more of like, it feels more like fear of the unknown, like intangibles, not necessarily like today's latest headline.
To me, it's almost like the more I talk to people, the more that there's an acceptance that they're on the ride. Like at this point, I think at the beginning, people were really, really upset about the ride. They didn't want to be on it. Like you said, it was kind of like a tantruming market. You had the tariff shock, all of that good stuff. Now, I think people realize that they're just in it. And I think that people have kind of settled with some acceptance there. Not to say that it's good or bad, but yeah, it does feel like it's kind of calmed down in the latter half of the year. There's always calm before the storm, though.
Jeez. Okay. We're not predicting storm for
anything.
2026 right now. But you're right. I think there is certain acceptance. And what's tricky about that is that acceptance can quickly lead to complacency. So, that might be, I think, more concerning to me because when especially as investors and as advisors and wealth managers and friends, right? But there are a lot of people who are out there who are worried about where the stock market goes from here, and nobody seems to be worried about it going up another 20% next year.
No,
and I think because we've had that wall of worry to climb, that's provided us with a little bit more support in this market. It's prevented it from getting overheated too much, right? There's areas that certainly have been overheated,
right?
With a FOMO to cold.
Yes. I mean, it's been a great year. The market's up roughly 16% as we're doing this right now. Yeah. We're at basically all-time highs. And, I think the fear of loss is greater than the motivation to win at this point is kind of the underlying theme that I'm seeing in conversations.
Yeah. But when people get complacent, that's when, in the markets anyways, you often see kind of that just like, rising tide lifts all boats situation until like somebody pulls out the plug and everything sinks to the bottom. And I don't know, I'm not suggesting that's what's going to happen, but I do think that complacency never leads to something good.
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, if you go back throughout the year, obviously there were times where there was a lot of shocking moments. There was a lot of volatility. It picked up a pretty decent amount. And it smoothed the latter half of the year a little bit. But with that being said, oftentimes when there's smoothing volatility will inevitably pick up afterwards. Yeah. So I would just anticipate that, at some point moving forward, it's inevitable. But with that being said, too, AI was a huge conversation for us as we come into this. And I'll say that it was a huge conversation amongst clients in regards to replacing jobs. It was a huge conversation with us with how it's going to affect the business. And it was a huge, I'll say, value add in a lot of ways in how we just operate on a day-to-day business.
Yeah.
Both personally and professionally.
Yeah. I think.
Like a game-changing technology in such a short period of time.
And it does feel like some of that acceptance is settling in there as well, right? I think what's great about acceptance is that it is an opportunity for you to reflect.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, maybe something good did happen this year. And I think we had a lot of good things happen this year.
We did.
And there were a lot of, I would say, improvements. Boy, I just did a Colin. I'll just say improvements financially and progressively at the same time as there were a lot of unsettling moments. So it's always a mixed bag. It's not just going to be one thing or another. And AI, I think, is both of those things, right? It's the fear
Yep.
right? It's also creating more productivity. And then maybe I think the next wave of this is actually going to be how AI integrates to make our lives better. So it's improving not just quantity, but quality.
What has been, I'll say, the biggest breakthrough or the biggest use case for AI for you in normal day-to-day life?
Uh, boy, I'm somebody I've been very excited to use AI. So
I'm with you.
I like to use AI as a thought partner first.
Yep.
Right. I like to use it. It's definitely replaced search in a lot of ways for
Yep.
me. Jess and I started using the app Purpose recently, which is basically AI therapy. It's not we're not going to talk. We're not replacing our actual therapist. Don't worry, Leslie. Your job is safe. But we're not replacing our therapist, but it helps you. It's very good at asking you the questions and the prompts to help you think through things. You talked about journaling recently.
I did.
Right. I kind of like journaling with a partner. It's almost like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And then they ask me clarifications or, they push you to think further. And Jess had a great experience, and I'll share her experience here. But, this AI app called her out on some of the things that
How?
she was doing. Well, most AI, like ChatGPT, you'll go in there and you'll say, "Hey, I have this idea," and they're like, "Great idea! I love that idea."
Yeah, it treats you like a 4-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing great. It's like Finn in the
Right, exactly.
You're doing great, buddy. You chew on that Velcro.
Yeah.
Great idea. But this app is getting to know you and saying, "Wait a second, you've identified this as a problem before." You personally identified. I didn't tell you it was a problem, but you said it was a problem, and now I see you doing it, right? And it's very interesting for that feedback to not just be positive. It's not negative. It's supportive.
Yeah.
But it's accountability as a partner now. All of a sudden,
You want to know what I've realized with ChatGPT is that it basically, it doesn't send back your own kind of vibe. I mean, I guess it kind of does to a certain extent, but it's going to give you a lot of what you're seeking in a lot of ways. So for this app Purpose to actually rebuttal, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Like that is a super useful feature.
Yeah.
On the AI front, one thing that I didn't really anticipate and think through until you were just talking about this, because we were going over this as a thought partner, we've talked about this at length a million times, was prior to ChatGPT or AI or, Perplexity, whatever tool you're using, how many clicks I would have to take to get to the answer.
Oh, I know.
So if I wanted to just say, look up, what are the side effects of using this drug? Like I would go to 10 different web pages, and I would type it into Google. I would click, I would read through, scroll down all these articles, go back, find another article, verify it over here, and then maybe even a third article and just read through everything. Versus ChatGPT, you type it in and it's like, bam, everything there with the cited sources, and you can play around with it. The amount of time it's saved, not to mention in a very already efficient search engine, eliminating clicks and time searching for things.
So this, though, is one of the fears, right? Because
because everything that you receive from it, you assume is truth.
Right. Yeah. So you're searching not for information, not you, but in general, people are searching for not information, but answers.
You're right. And then think about it from a business perspective, too. We talk about how do people find us when they search for us.
Right.
But if AI is only going to give you a few solutions, how do you make sure that you are the solution that AI is presenting forward?
Tori and I were just talking about this yesterday.
I did this on my phone last night, actually.
Really? What'd you find?
You have to be a little specific with what you're looking for to find us. Like you can't just be like wealth management in the Portsmouth area because there's so many.
Oh, there's a million.
But yeah, I found it. I found our website.
Okay.
After maybe we went back and forth 2 or 3 times.
Which AI were you using?
Chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. The basic. I think that's what most people are going to use for basic searching.
From now on.
I agree.
You know what's interesting? Because ChatGPT, one of the things that happened this year is that, ChatGPT basically, I feel, saved the stock market at the end of 2022, right? All of a sudden, AI was real and everybody could access it. And then we started to envision the future. And otherwise, 2022 could have been a worse outcome. It could have been a more prolonged bear market. Like the interest rate hike damage was significant.
Yeah, it was serious.
Right. So ChatGPT, though, basically, hit the alarm button earlier this month. Well, I guess that was November. And they said, like, stop everything. We're falling behind Gemini. And Gemini is Google.
Yep.
And so how is that the case? Like, if Tori's right, and I feel like ChatGPT is literally the first thing that we think of when we think AI.
Yes.
But they feel like they're losing to Gemini, and people are used to going to Google. Like, can Google just become Gemini? Can, instead of Googling something, or will Googling something just mean going to Gemini?
I don't know. We could be at the brink of a rebrand.
For Google?
Yeah.
God, it didn't go well for Meta.
Yeah, I know. That's fair. But I think it's not necessarily that the adoption rates, and I don't know enough about this to speak with it with clarity, but maybe perhaps they recognize that Gemini's capability might be on par or getting better quicker than their own, not necessarily that there's more people using it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be very curious to look at some of this data, and then learn
what
how,
metrics are they using,
and which AI do you go to do which thing. Like, you go to Purpose for one thing, I go to Claude for another when I'm feeling creative, and some of them are better about learning you, and others are not. But I feel like one of my favorite cases, and I feel like you might agree with this, is using AI to find like your purpose, your intention, like to align what you're doing with who you are.
I have a interesting prompt that I would encourage all listeners to do if they're using ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever system you're using. As we were going over this 2025 recap, I thought to myself, well, what was I thinking about in 2025? I wonder if ChatGPT would know.
Yeah.
So the prompt I did was, I want you to look through all of our conversations that we had in 2025, starting back in January. What are the underlying themes of the things we talked about? What are things that I'm fearful of? And then how did I act and change throughout the year? And it gave me an amazing output for all of our conversations in order, like my thoughts and opinions and how they changed throughout the conversation, what my underlying themes were. And it was awesome. So I'd highly encourage anyone to do that. But as a thought partner, it was perfect. It was like the best journal I could have asked for, as opposed to flipping through a million pages for things I wrote down throughout the year. Done.
Yeah. So what did you learn about yourself through that exercise?
I learned throughout myself that I was, in the beginning of the year, fairly indecisive with what I wanted. I was going back and forth on layouts of the house. I was going back and forth on goals for the job, going back and forth on personal goals in regards to like fitness and family and travel and things like that. And then as the year went on, I honed in and became more intentional with what it is that I wanted and prioritized. That was the big underlying theme that I found.
Yeah. So
or that it found for me.
Yeah, because you put all that time into
talking with
exploring all of this, right? And that helped you find that clarity.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I think that that's my biggest takeaway from AI this year as well. Is yes, it is obviously helping us scale our business. We're able to accomplish more. We're able to meet our clients where they are with more resources. And I think that's creating a better client experience.
Absolutely.
I think it's, if we look at the progress of this podcast, when did we launch this podcast? Was it like March?
I think it was May.
May?
Yeah.
Wow, May.
I think we started in March and then we posted in May.
Yeah. If we think about like how quickly we advanced through just this show, like figuring out the equipment, figuring out the editor, figuring out the software, figuring out the format, figuring out like all these different things. Like, yeah, we had conversations, obviously, but we leaned on our partners, whether they were people or apps, to figure out a lot. And I feel like that type of speed is something that AI like superpowers.
It's a scalable technology that you can implement extremely quickly. I even look at things like our note taker and just how effective it is with helping us manage tasks and take notes and make sure things aren't missed.
Yeah.
And it's just like such an easy, perfect technology out of the gate. I was talking with another advisory team, and we were both saying that oftentimes when you purchase into a technology, it doesn't work very well out the gate.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of time to implement it where it's actually a time saver. AI is one of the few technologies that we've implemented and right out of the gate has been a pretty big time change.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. And it also hasn't prevented us from increasing our headcount. It actually, I think, might be supporting our ability to do that.
Well, I think this is a great theme to talk about too, because a lot of people are fearful of AI taking their jobs, which, you know, I totally get it and it makes sense. It's capable of doing a lot of stuff. But getting the right people into the right places within our business has been much easier with AI.
Yeah.
And when you look at, I'll just use like Tori as a perfect example, the amount of minutia and back and forth that happened if you were to go back 3 or 4 years ago has, I'll say, not been eliminated, but certainly been streamlined a lot more with AI and systems and processing, which has allowed Tori to focus more on her strengths the same way with other people on our team.
Yeah. And I wonder if, I mean, I feel like it's been less than 2 years since we founded Ko-Fi Advisors.
Yep.
And how much has happened over that? It's almost, it's unfathomable for me to like sit here and when I think about it, I'm overwhelmed by all that we've accomplished, which is not a humble brag. It's an acknowledgement of, again, acceptance of what's been happening, because change is hard and change at this pace is really hard. And, you know, I'm grateful for the success, but at the same time, it just creates more opportunity for me to figure out what to do next and how we should apply that success to other areas of our business or our lives.
Yeah, getting people, the right people into the right shoes and using AI to do it quicker has been, like, in my mind, a huge theme of this year.
Yeah.
Because it's allowed people the freedom, it's allowed people the, I'll say, ability to focus on their strengths. It's getting things into a great honed system versus everyone just working really hard at every task. It's allowed people to be more dialed and myopic.
Yeah. Can I go on a tangent? Just a very quick tangent.
Please.
It plays to what we're talking about, I promise. So I wrote a newsletter about Cisco.
Okay.
Right.
I love that newsletter, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it's the concept of just like not forgetting the past. Like we get very, very excited about the potential for some of these companies, but great companies with great businesses can lose value and stay underwater for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I shared that with a lot of our clients. And one of those clients reached out and said, this doesn't sound like what we've been talking about. This sounds counter to a lot of our conversations. Where do you really stand? Are you just covering your ass and making sure that if market goes down? And I'm like, no. And I think in the newsletter I said this, I'm not saying that just because this happened to Cisco is going to happen to NVIDIA or something like that.
Sure.
But I find it helpful to challenge our assumptions. Mm-hmm. And I think when we look at the environment that we're in right now with AI, there are so many opportunities to say, I see how this goes. It's going to end horribly. And yet, if we challenge our assumptions, could it be that we, as an independent small firm, were able to accomplish more than we would have at our larger Fortune 500 firm that we were at before, mm-hmm. because we're small and nimble, because AI allowed us to do this? I think everybody feels like the Googles of the world and the Apples of the world and whatever are going to just like suck up everybody and get bigger and bigger and bigger. But what if they actually empower the smaller businesses to do more and be more profitable and reach more people?
It's an awesome thought. I think you're probably going to see more and more businesses become more and more profitable and scalable with less people. Now, when I say less people, people think that means they're going to be out of the job, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying with less people is that it's capable for small businesses to do much more with less people than, say, a Fortune 500 company, because you're able to pivot and get so much more done, just echoing exactly what you're saying. If we were to, I'll say, wanting to do a lot of the things that we got done this year, we would have had to have hired more people. to do it, and with AI and some of the other tools that we've had, it's allowed us to pivot. It's allowed us to put Tori in the right shoes. It's allowed us to put Shay in the right shoes. It's allowed us to hire other people to do things that we wouldn't have been able to do. But not only that, it's allowed us to pause and kind of reflect on certain things within the business. I was listening to last night, it was a TED Talk from a Forbes interviewer. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in like the division where he would go and interview all the billionaires. And he would write up pieces on them. And he was saying that most of the billionaires that he talked to actually weren't that busy. And he was like, they're actually some of the most accessible people that you could possibly think of. Like he was talking about this one billionaire who was a hedge fund manager who every Friday she took the Friday off. And that was like her reflection day. And he was kind of talking about how technology and having the right people in the right shoes allowed her to do that because you needed time to think about the business. And if you have tools and technology like AI that allows a small business to pivot and reflect and kind of take care of things really, really well, then it gives you that ability to think through and scale.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily about when you say fewer people, it's not fewer people because we can replace their jobs.
Right.
It's more fewer people to achieve this goal so then we can allocate, resources or people to a different goal.
Exactly.
And it's about finding all of these different avenues to continue to grow. And I think what's interesting is my thought on how this whole wave would flow would be, the companies would essentially stop hiring because they can get more from the people they have. And then maybe the layoffs would come. But what if the layoffs don't come? As long as the economy cranks along because we're able to get more from the people that are working and find more of a quality of life for those people. That is like a better outcome. I would rather have this.
I agree with you. Well, you want to know what it does is I feel as if what AI allows you to do is move away from the things you have to do to the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the way that I think about it. All these things that we have to do in the minutia and all that stuff certainly needs to get done. And it helps us get those things done very quickly and efficiently, which allows us to focus our times on the things that we want to do to help us grow and scale.
Yeah. There are always so many risks. And I think it's just important to make sure that you're risk aware versus risk averse. And if you're risk aware, you can realize that AI is just going to be an answer engine instead of a search engine, but it does give you the resources to go and fact check, right? Like you have to make sure that you don't just hit the easy button too much.
Right. I definitely agree with you. Well, as we kind of talk through this, I want to kind of look ahead to 2026 as well.
Do it.
Yeah, because I feel as if everything we talked about lays a great foundation to kind of jump into 2026 in general. So why don't we talk through just kind of clarity that you're seeing moving into 2026? Because you said that a lot of clients have entered the latter half of the year with FOMO of missing out on certain things. What's kind of the message coming into 2026 for those people? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I actually would say it's be risk aware, but not risk adverse, because a lot of people were so risk averse this year that they missed out on some other opportunities that, were easily presented and something they could take advantage of, but that they didn't. And I think that if we are risk aware, that allows you to take advantage of opportunities. And that's where we should be moving in 2026. It's saying, okay, AI can be bad in this way, but as we were just talking about, in what ways can it be good? Right? How can it help you find that clarity, find that intentionality, design your life, design your business, design whatever.
Speaking of design, I felt like that was like a huge theme for me this year because, like you said, we've only been in this business for less than 2 years now, and I'm also building a house, and there's a lot just going on in life in general. And I think where AI has really helped me, and a lot of our conversations in the podcast as well, is kind of designing exactly what it is that I want out of life and building systems around the outcome that I want.
Yeah.
And when I talk through with a lot of clients their goals and everything moving into 2026, or even reflecting back on 2025. If a goal was missed, or if something wasn't achieved, or if something was achieved, almost every single time it's due to the systems that were put in place. And I think for me, as we were doing this exercise, and as I was talking through, let's just say the house as an example, I would bring up, help me kind of design the house or the layout. What do you think about having this here? In the same way that it is with the business, should we make this decision or not? And it helps you figure out the outcome that you want. It's, well, how do you cook? It's, well, when you see people sitting at the bar, like, do you want them walking around the bar? Or it's like with the business, and I'll keep going back to Tori because she's sitting right here. It's like, Tori's really great at the podcast and the marketing stuff. How do we build systems to allow her to have more time to do those types of things? And that to me was a big underlying theme of 2025 and working with people, was developing the right systems so you could have success, because it's the incremental improvements versus these seismic shifts that I think everybody hopes for.
What I liked about what you just said was the outcome that you want, right? It's not the outcome that you're necessarily going to get.
Totally.
But it's what you're trying, like, tell me what you really want. And then the next step for me is, why do you really want that?
Right.
And I think that is where we are going with AI. We're just going one layer further. It's like, it's not necessarily just like, how do I achieve this outcome? It's, what is that outcome? And then why that outcome? And then, how does that fit into everything else?
Yeah. And what's kind of funny about this is the outcome that I initially set out for isn't necessarily what ended up happening, but oftentimes what ended up happening was better.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the business metrics that we set out for this year, we may not have hit all of them, but a lot of the things that we were successful with, I never would have anticipated being so successful with, if you know what I mean. And that to me, if we didn't set up those systems, sometimes it leads to unintended positive consequences.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also feel like my definition of success is shifting. I think it's recognizing that sometimes what I thought was success isn't really in alignment with who I am, or it's success because it provides for something else. So like financial success provides for something else.
Yeah.
So the success is really the other outcome, the thing that you wanted. That's a success, not necessarily the money that you made to get to that.
Yeah, it helps you identify what your own goals and priorities are.
Yeah. I think that's where we should be going in 2026, like how AI can kind of support and integrate everything that we're talking about here. So I look at 2025 as like it was a very volatile year. There was a lot of opportunity for us anyways to sit and think about why things are happening and what we want. And one thing we talked about was establishing a foundation and bomb proofing. And hopefully we've either done that in 2025 or we are positioned to go into 2026 with that done. And then that allows us to, check that goal off and then optimize for something else and improve something else. And, Tori was talking about the thermostat dying in her house the other day and not alerting her. There's so many little ways that AI can help improve your daily life.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to be seeing. We're going to move past the chatbots and we're going to move into implementation outside of an app on your phone.
And integration.
Yeah.
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 So moving into 2026.
Yeah.
Guiding words. Why don't you tell us what a guiding word is?
So, boy, like so many concepts, this would be better explained by my wife. But I will explain it in her absence. In lieu of a better explanation, you have me. Most people in New Year's, or as they go into New Year's or on New Year's Eve, like, or at 11:59, they're like, oh, wait, I need a resolution. And it's something like, I want to lose weight, or I'm going to stop drinking.
I want to save more.
I want to save more. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm going to have more success.
Right.
Whatever
success
that means.
Is what I'm getting.
And I think what a guiding word is really, it's finding an actual intentionality and say, this is what's important to me going into this coming year. And I'm going to use this word like a beacon. I'm going to apply it to, every aspect of my life. So like I said, in 2025, intentional was my guiding word. I feel like 2025's word of the year was fear. I was intentional about how I spent my time. I spent a lot of time reflecting, and I realized how much I let fear impact my everyday decisions.
Can you cite an example?
Yeah. So I'll use a very present example. So when we have this business where we have a hybrid approach to work, I think about why it's hybrid.
You mean in person
versus remote, and both, right? Like it's a little bit of both, right? Is it that we're remote because it's a good company benefit and people like working from home? Is it remote because people are more productive when they're not getting like drive-by interruptions all the time? Like I'm the worst. I never thought I was bad at this, but every time I see Tori, I say something to her. And
You do.
it's pretty bad. Sometimes I walk into the office and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything to Tori. I'm just going to walk through. And it's so then I'm like, okay, on the other side of that, why do I want people in the office? And it's because of a few different reasons. And I believe in the magic of having people in person together. But is it also that I just want to be surrounded by people? Like,
what's wrong with that?
Is it, well, there's nothing wrong with it. But my desire to be surrounded by people might be coming from a place of fear. It might be from a place of loneliness.
We're
right?
getting deep.
I'm just saying.
I like it.
So you ask for an example. Here's an example.
That's a great example. And
Right?
it's a good point. I try to hit Tori with the, hey, as I walk by.
What's up?
That's about as
Now you
deep
know-
as I get, hopefully. But I get it, though. And I'll say a lot of our conversations this year, and this was the thing I talked about with the journaling earlier and with the output that I got from 2025. The first half of the year was us trying to decide so many things.
Yeah.
It was us trying to decide, like, what AI systems we're going to adopt. You know, are there going to be any changes to our systems with asset management or something like that? You know, who do we want to hire? What spots do we want to hire them for? Don't even get me going on office space. There were so many conversations that we had this year that I'll say kind of got refined towards the latter half of the year. And I think elaborating kind of on what you were saying, like being driven by fear, I think it's also like fear of the unknown for me. It's, you know, what is the outcome? Like if we do this, then what's the outcome going to be? Or if we sink all this time into this system or into this process, what happens if it fails? And my dad has a quote that I think kind of applies here, which is failure to make a decision is often the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
it is still a decision.
It's a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Failure to make a decision is a decision, and it's often the wrong decision. And for us, as we've moved into things, I have found success whenever we make a decision, even if it's not perfect at first, we'll eventually get it there. And even if it's not the right path, at least when we have made a decision and gone down it, we've known afterwards that it didn't work.
Yeah.
So we can cross that off the list.
Yeah.
And to go back to kind of your hybrid or in-person situation, you wouldn't have known that unless we had tried to do hybrid or unless we had, you know, some sort of policy in place.
Yeah.
So for me, coming into 2026, and you touched on this briefly, it's all about like intentionality and trying to figure out what you want, just making the decision and sticking with it, even if you have doubts about it a little while in, and just seeing things through to the point where you know when to call it quits. And I'll say, whenever I've struggled this year, it's mostly because of some sort of indecisiveness I've had in my own mind.
Mm. It sounds actually more like decisiveness might be your guiding word.
Probably true.
I mean, just based on what you were just saying, it makes me feel like you want to just, and we've talked about this recently. Like Kaylee mentioned, you know, you were going around in circles. And what did she say? She said,
she said, you can go around in circles on your own time. Come back to me when you actually have a decision.
So I think I know that we are very guilty of doing that. And maybe I'm not determining your guiding word.
Of course, yeah, but it's a good point.
And we have a couple weeks to figure these things out.
You're my AI thought partner today.
Yeah, I'm your in-person, real-life thought partner. But I didn't say what my word was. So fear is not my guiding word.
I know fear is not your guiding word.
I want to be really fearful in 2026.
That's my goal.
My word is bravery. I
the
want
opposite.
I want to feel the fear and either do it anyway or determine like why it's there and face that fear. So I don't think that like I feel like that's the common phrase, like feel the fear and do it anyway. But some things we shouldn't do, like fear is there for a reason.
Don't jump off a bridge if you're fearful.
God damn it, Wheeler, you're a parent. So I think it's facing the fear. It's acknowledging what's happening. And sometimes that means doing the brave thing. I can't tell you how fearful I was to go in and teach financial literacy to a couple classes of sixth graders. I was shaking with anxiety. And one of those, my daughter was in the class, and, that didn't make it better or worse. I didn't actually care what she thought. She was petrified. She thought I was going to embarrass her so badly. And I'm like, who do you think I am? Don't you know I've done this 6 or 7 times?
That's so funny.
Sorry, Tori.
You want to know what? Oh, I get it now. You want to know what I found with that though, and why I think that's a good kind of lesson is whenever I've had a ton of anxiety about something and been really fearful about it, happiness is something that's right on the other side. Like you walking out of that classroom and being done teaching it, and you probably had a great experience around, you probably felt great, and it was a great experience, and it was the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of times where I've been so anxious and freaking out about certain things or trips or experiences, and then it's like when you're in it, you're like, this is actually pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, trips are the worst for me.
Yeah. The 2 nights before you're about to leave is always stressful.
So bad. And Jess is like, you're going away with your friends for the weekend. So like, relax. You're like, don't give me your anxiety right now. You're about to leave for 3 days.
And go drinking with your buddies.
Yeah, like maybe just be present. They do say that that happiness is a time machine. And your ability to navigate the past, present, and future is what helps you stay, I guess, happy but content or fulfilled or whatever. Because last night I was up, like I couldn't stop thinking about tax planning, which is like the worst thing when you're trying to fall asleep. I think it puts a lot of people to sleep, but for me, it
excites me.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And all I had to do was like time travel to today and be like, okay, well, you'll figure this out in the morning.
Yeah.
Call it a day. Like it's figured out already. You will figure this out tomorrow. Let's consider it figured out because it's already done. Just not yet. Right. And I think that, I don't know why I started with this actually, but I do believe in this concept that happiness is a time machine because sometimes it really pays off to be in the present. Right. And sometimes it really pays off to think about the future and at the other side of this, how you're going to feel.
Yeah,
your point.
I definitely agree. And speaking of the other side too, and we've talked about this at length a million times in goal setting and whatnot, I think for me, maybe it is decisiveness because the decisiveness of figuring out where you want to go allows you to put systems in place. And once the system is in place, I found that there's less anxiety about the goal. Like if I look back, I didn't hit all my goals this year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to own that. I didn't lose the amount of weight I was hoping to lose this year.
You literally told me yesterday you've been the same weight for like 3 years.
Yeah. I lost it in the beginning of the year, just like everybody else. First 4 months, I was down like 10 pounds, and then it just all came right back.
Because it was a resolution.
This was a resolution. But had I put a system in place, then I would have been good. Now I have like anxiety. No, I don't have anxiety, but I had some disappointment the other day. And I was venting this to my wife. And I was like, I feel like I didn't hit my goals this year. And she was just like, what do you mean? And I was like, I have this list of goals here, and I didn't hit them. And I didn't put the systems in place. And it was kind of disappointing to me to look back and be like, well, I didn't hit this goal. I didn't hit this goal. And then she was just like, yeah, but even though you didn't hit those goals, look at everything else over here that you spent your time on that got accomplished and you were successful in. So she pulled me out of my funk. That was a 45-second funk. But anyway, I have found too that once you kind of are able to make a decision, stick with it, build a system around it, and it will alleviate some anxiety along the way too, because there's less decisions to be made. It doesn't have to be super complicated.
No, sometimes you can just make a decision and say, we'll revisit this decision at this point down the road.
Yeah.
And I look forward to next year benefiting from your decisiveness, because otherwise the two of us will just spin around like a couple of tops bouncing into each other. And so you be decisive for
I'm gonna do my
2026.
best. I'm gonna do my best.
I am very excited about some of the decisive decisions we've already made for season 2.
Yes.
Season 2 next year, deeper conversations, more guests. I'm excited about the first few guests that we've lined up.
Me too. I'm pumped.
Yeah. And we're going to have some more systems and explore some more life design. And season 1 was a great rough draft. It's kind of like The Office. Season 1 of The Office, pretty painful at times.
It was. But like when you watch the first season, when they aired the first season, they're like, we kind of got something here.
Yeah, exactly. So I promise that we're going to be as good as The Office.
Yeah.
Or Parks and Rec, or your choice.
Yeah, exactly. Another takeaway: guiding words.
Yes.
Encourage people.
Yes.
Maybe take a time, sit down, think about what you want your themes to be going into 2026, how you can get there, what systems can help you get there. Try to make it simple. The clearer you can kind of get with things, the simpler it tends to be.
Yeah. And actually, while our listeners are finding their guiding words, they can work with AI as a thought partner
to do that.
And I would encourage them to find a thought partner that pushes back and asks them to go deeper. But once they do figure out their guiding word, hot tip, make a playlist about that word. This is something Jess has been doing for a couple of years, and I'm going to be adopting it for next year. And it's something that you can, when you feel like you're not in alignment with your word, or you're just kind of like you need to get grounded, you can just go to that playlist and hit shuffle or hit play if you organize them like the Crowleys do.
Is on your playlist Brave?
My playlist is only like 6 songs. It's still 2025, Colin. I'm still trying to figure out my
Sorry,
playlist.
I didn't know how prepped you were.
Which Brave is that a song?
Yeah.
What song is that?
I don't know who sings it.
By
Do you know
whom?
who I'm talking about? You know the song if you heard it.
Can you sing a couple notes?
No.
Come on, Colin.
I'm not doing it. I already embarrassed myself
Is
earlier.
it I feel like I know. Is it a female artist? Yeah. I feel who is it?
Wait. Hold on.
What?
Is it this one?
I don't think we can play
play
it due to copyright laws.
Okay, yeah, I will play it. Also,
Who's
Is
it
it
by?
Sarah?
Sarah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
got to be on your playlist.
Woo!
Yes.
I nailed it.
Is it on your playlist?
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
forgot about that song.
what
Yes.
songs there are about decisiveness, but I'll think of some.
Honestly,
Well, you could just pick
Yes,
songs
exactly.
that make you confident. Because that
Katy
would
Perry.
Be, yeah. Or
What's wrong with being confident?
Well,
Colin?
I'm just saying, like that could make you be decisive if you're confident in your decision.
Yes. Get creative with the words. All right. So
Fair.
pick a guiding word for 2026, friends.
Use AI as a thought partner
Use AI
to
as a
do
thought
it.
partner. Make a playlist. Share with us. Oh my God! I want our listeners to share what their guiding
playlists.
words are.
We will
And
play
their
it in the
playlists.
And their playlists.
Oh my gosh! I know one listener in particular who will definitely take me up on this and share a playlist, and I'm super excited to hear it.
He or her.
He.
I think.
Well,
I know.
Jess already. I know Jess is getting
Okay.
this is, I'm not prompting her
I feel
to do
like we're
this.
going to get more playlists.
She's doing this completely independent of me.
Yeah.
Compound Growth with Wheeler and Colin. Sponsored by Ko-Fi Advisors. Reach out today. Yay!